மதிப்பிற்குரிய திரு விஜயாலயன் அவர்களே, திரு குருசாமி மயில்வாகனன் அவர்களே, திரு கற்பூர சுந்தர பாண்டியன் அவர்களே, திரு மாரி செர்வாய் அவர்களே, திருமதி ராதா தேவர் அவர்களே, திரு மதுசூதன் பெருமாள் அவர்களே, அழைப்பாளர்களே, என் இனிய மாணவ செல்வங்களே, அனைவரையும் எனது இனிய வணக்கம். I am humbled, happy and hopeful to be part of this event today. I am humbled because this is in memory of perhaps the first freedom fighter of India who lit the fire of national freedom movement long before others woke up. They gave their life. I'm talking about Maruti brothers. They gave their life by lighting the fire of India's independence, by giving it a conceptual framework, Jambudvip Pragadanam. This is a freedom for the whole of India. I am humbled because I am participating in the event in the memory of such a great sons of India. I am also humbled because that declaration was pasted at a place here in Trichy, Sri Rangam Temple. This holy place. I am happy because I find there are people who still remember Maruti brothers. There are people, there are young students who are well informed about the calendar of their sacrifices. It's because when I came a little over 2 years back to Tamil Nadu, I wanted to have a list of freedom fighters of Tamil Nadu. And the list that I got from the state government, it had just a few names, less than 40, and there was no mention of Maruti brothers in that list. It took 1 year for me when I started meeting the people, because before that I was in Nagaland, a small state. A small state of Nagaland had more than 1,000 freedom fighters. More than 1,000. How could a state of Tamil Nadu would have only a handful? And then out of curiosity, when I started making inquiries, then I realized that there were several thousands freedom fighters from this land. Several thousands who gave their life for the freedom of our motherland. And when I didn't find mention of Maruti brothers, not many people talking about him or about them. I was disappointed. But I am hopeful today when I see so many young people who know about Maruti brothers, who know about their sacrifices, and I am hopeful that you will be the torch bearers of the history, the proud history of our place, our people. A few days back, I read in the newspaper, and then I verified it was true, that Sivgangai district, which was the seat of activities of Maruti brothers, which was the center of revolt against the British, that was the place from where the ideas and warriors spread out to liberate our motherland. In that district, prohibitory order has been issued for people not to assemble. Or from 23rd, from today, till 31st of October. More than 5 persons cannot assemble. People from other districts cannot come. And when I found the reason, what was the reason behind? The prohibitory order mentions that in 2012, 11 years back, there were some law and order incidents during this period, and some people were killed, unfortunate. And so that's the reason that mass celebration of these heroes, their sacrifices have been prohibited by an order, proclamatory order, under the Code of Criminal Procedure. I was shocked. I was shocked and outraged, in fact, because law and order incident may happen. It is for the administration, it is for the government to resolve the tension, to see that people who have differences, they come together. And celebrate the event of national importance. But instead of that, 11 years down the line, anticipating that there would be classes, this celebration of these great heroes and their sacrifices have been prohibited. I find it difficult to understand. I feel outraged. Remember, for a moment, if anyone, the leaders of a political party or their people, those who were before, if on their anniversary days, if there were some law and order incident, would they prohibit celebration of their day in subsequent years? They would not. There are many icons which the government has been celebrating and worshipping on any of their days. If there is a law and order incident, will they stop it? No. But when it comes to the national freedom fighter, it is prohibited. Saying that one is Maruti brothers, another is the day from 23rd to 31st is Muthuramalingam Thewar, another great national freedom fighter, a great associate of Netaji, who suffered for the freedom of our country. Today, it pains me that these leaders have been reduced to a caste leader. the person who fought for the freedom of the entire country. The people, those who did not discriminate or distinguish between caste, today they have been reduced to caste leader. But how? And why? These national freedom fighters, if they were celebrated by the state, people would have joined. But since the state is trying to erase them from the memory of the people, it has been removed from the textbook of school textbooks, their contributions, though occasionally on their anniversaries, leaders go and put some flowers, obviously for the vote banks, for the getting the vote. But the fact that their acceptance, their recognition by the government, by the authority is not there, people start forgetting. But then the community from which these leaders came, that community cannot forget. And moreover, here is a society which is badly fragmented along caste lines. I have not come across any state in India where students go to school wearing the caste band. It is shocking. A society has been so fragmented in terms of caste. And when you have fragmented in terms of caste, and when the national hero is forgotten by the authorities, caste owns up. And this leader, the national leaders have been reduced to caste leaders today. And so, tensions happen. And you prohibit the celebration. Why? Why this have done? Why it is that their memories, they try to erase from the popular memory? Why is it that because the state, the authorities don't celebrate, they are reduced to the caste leaders and they do Guru Puja and all? Answer is simple. Because the people, they feel scared when they talk about national freedom movement here. Because those in authority, they are shy of talking about national freedom movement and national freedom warriors. Because the moment you talk about national freedom movement and national freedom warriors, they are exposed. Because they were the people who had worked against the national freedom movement. They were the people who had collaborated with the British to defeat the national freedom movement. These are all matter of record. They were agents of British. And British, among the qualities that they had, one quality is maintaining good document. Go to their archive in London and it tells you the stories. Who were the agents of British? Those who were fighting here, those who are icons of the people today, those who are ruling. Last year, on 2nd of October, an interesting thing happened. Mahatma Gandhi's birth anniversary. We had gone with other leaders to pay tribute to Mahatma Gandhi. On the side, there was a photo gallery, Mahatma Gandhi and freedom fighters. Mahatma Gandhi had visited this state, Tamil Nadu, so many times, at least 18 times. He had visited the nook and corner of the state. There was a large photo gallery, but in the entire gallery, there was not one Dravidian ideology icon present photo anywhere. And that created embarrassment that now that system of photo gallery is abolished. This year, 2nd October, we went, paid floral tribute, came out. There was no photo exhibition because it was embarrassing. It was something that had exposed them. Now, when I see persons like Maruti brothers being reduced to caste leader, I wonder if Mahatma Gandhi, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Sardar Patel, Shahid Bhagat Singh, if they were born here in Tamil Nadu, they too would have been reduced as caste leaders. Such is the situation here today. I think this is not acceptable. We cannot forget those who gave their life, who gave their blood for the freedom of our country. You know, this is ingratitude. And there is a curse of Tiruvalluvar. Tiruvalluvar, he elaborates the virtue of gratitude. And then he says, those who kill gratitude, those who forget to remember those who have given their life for them, they have no salvation, they have no future. Kural 110. Say nandri kondra magar ueville. It says, en nandri kondrarkum ueundam. Ueville shai nandri kondra magarku. This curse of Tiruvalluvar will fall on those who are trying to forget these great people by virtue of it is their life. They gave their life so that we are all here enjoying our freedom. An attempt has been made, and a concerted attempt has been made in this state to erase the history of this place, to write a parallel history of this place. They have created a false narrative of racial divide, Dravid and Aryan race. But by the way, who was the father of this theory? Who gave this? Dravid theory. The Dravid is a separate race. Who gave it? It was Robert Caldwell. Robert Caldwell, he is the one who wrote the grammar of Dravidian language, and he tried to create a theory, a hypothesis that Dravid is a separate race. And by the way, do you know who was Robert Caldwell? I think many of you might not be aware. I have done the study. I have gone to London. I have studied there about the background of all these people. In 1813, British Parliament made a law. British Parliament made a law that is called India Charter Act 1813. Under that charter, which was what all British would do in India, one of the mandate of the British government was to evangelize India, to kill the culture and spirituality of India. Section 13, India Charter Act 1813. Those of you who are all students, go into and look into the act. Evangelization of India was an act of British Parliament. And after that, they started looking for volunteers who would come with the missionaries in this country. Educated people with a job prospect did not like to come. They had a better opportunity there. And even if they come to India, they came as an employee of the company. And later the British government, where they were better paid. So what they started doing? They started picking up a school dropout. A school dropout. And Robert Cardwell was a school dropout. He was not even 17 years of old age. He could not clear his school examination, never went to a college or university. He came here and he, over the time, became somehow an expert on languages. He wrote the grammar of Dravidian language and he said that it is a different language, it is a different race. It was the British design to divide this country. It was the British design to fragment it as many as possible, and more so, when the National Freedom Movement started, they became far more active. And it was at that point of time, they started picking up collaborators, those who could help them, those who could work with them, and help defeat the National Freedom Movement and see that the British continued here. On record, some of these people, those who are worshipped today here, they had gone to London, presented a memorandum not to give freedom to India. These are forgotten chapters of history, but be sure these are not lost. All these are documents are there. These are available. And so, all through the National Freedom Movement, they started counter-freedom movement. And counter-freedom movement was built around this Aryan, Dravidian and divide. Domination of the Aryan, domination of the North. And so they started destroying the institutions that had defined this place. I have always maintained Tamil Nadu is a Punya Bhumi. This is a land of great spiritual leaders, Siddhas, Rishis. This is a land which has produced large number of warriors. When Mahakavi Bharati said, Vedam Udayadu in the Nadu, Nalla Virar Piranda in the Nadu, this is Tamil Nadu. But how can they face those who observed 15th of August 1947 as a black day? When the country was celebrating, when the people were celebrating, they observed it as a day of mourning. These are all facts of history. And that is why they are mortally scared of talking about National Freedom Movement and National Freedom Movement warriors. They try to downplay them. Symbolically they have to do, they cannot help, but they have to observe the Republic Day, Independence Day. They cannot completely forget Mahakavi, so Mahakavi has to be there. At times, Velu Nachiyar, I am so happy to see. But the spirit is not there. We have to keep it. A people cannot be ungrateful. If we have to move forward with dignity, with grace, with heads high, we must remember our past, which is glorious. The sacrifices, I often go and talk when I visit Delhi and other places and tell the people, try to educate the people that look, the first National Freedom War or movement, or I could call it, the first war of independence was not 1857, it was 1801. Imagine Maruti brothers coming up with a conceptual framework for liberation of the whole Bharat, whole India. He builds up alliances with other rulers. He builds up a formidable alliance and British gets over it. They knew that this will sweep them out of this country. And so they put their entire might to catch them, to kill them. And finally, because of the overwhelming larger military strength, and some division among us, our own people, that they were lost. They were caught, and finally they were martyred publicly. We just heard the 543 people were hanged on the day. And their heads were demonstrated on a pole for public display to demoralize the people. But then, people of this place are brave, they didn't get demoralized. Just 5 years later, 1806, Vellore, there was a massive revolt against the British. They had taken over the garrison. Our freedom fighters, Indian soldiers, had taken over the garrison, killed nearly 150 of the British officers and British Jawans, soldiers. But then they got British got reinforcement for so many places. They were overwhelmed, overpowered. Nearly 1,000 Indian soldiers were massacred in that Vellore fort. Nearly 1,000. When I think of them, I develop goosebumps. Imagine, people, those who gave their life, they were not insane people. They could have lived a comfortable, quiet life, earning salary wages. But they had something in them not to be under any foreign control. And so they revolted. All this history of our freedom fighters, we have to document. I feel very sad. When I came here, I also tried to understand how about the PhD, our academia, PhD. In the last about 3 decades, there are several thousand PhDs on a handful of these people, 4 or 5 people. These icons of Dravidian ideology, on them there are at least more than 5,000 plus PhDs. And when I went through the PhD thesis, it was all a propaganda material. It was not even a genuine research. It was essentially a license to get a job in the university as a professor. You do a PhD, you narrate the story which they like to listen, and you get a PhD and you get a job. Such an extreme politicization of the higher institution of learning is rare to see. And when I was looking into, I couldn't find one on Maruti Pandya. There are people who have done their self-study. There are people who have done, but there is no PhD. I would have loved to see a large number of people, because after all, who have worked and who have done research on the lives and times of these great people. Because these great people, it was not their individual life. It was the collective life of the society. Their life and time reflects the kind of atrocities that British were committing on our society. They could have done wonderful work to present our glorious past. We know that we have large number of our people from Tamil Nadu have been taken to Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Fiji, and so many places. But do we know that how they were taken? They were taken as indentured slaves for working in their tea gardens, for working in their rubber plantation, or working in the tin industry in Malaysia, and sugarcane in Fiji. They were induced, they were abducted also. It was a slave trade. Slave trade. A similar trade happened in northeast, in Assam, when the British enslaved thousands and thousands of people, the Adivasis people from central India, and took them for tea plantation, tea gardens there to work as indentured laborers. They were in between brokers, and the buyers used to look at the physical, open the mouth, whether you have teeth or not. Strip the woman, whether she is able to produce, she is of age where she can produce some children or not. Most inhuman treatment they had given. And similar was done here by our people, those who were taken to those places. Have we done this as a study? We have not done it. British have been glorified here. British have been glorified here, and I find today, even today, there are people in higher position talking high of British rule. British did this, British did that. This must go. And I have a lot of hope on our young people, on our young generation. You will do it, I know for sure. Because you are the one who carry the responsibility of the past and duty of the future. Friends, I'm very happy. I'm very delighted. As I said, I'm humbled, happy and hopeful to be part of this event. I wish the organizers my greetings and best wishes to them, because they had the capacity and desire to organize this event. I thank you all for participating in it. And I wish you all the very best in your future endeavor, especially the students, those who are aspiring for your civil services. I wish you all the very best. Thank you very much.